COVID-19, why you do this to me? I really don't like being stuck in quarantine. I have no toilet paper, I don't even have a snack. Hey, coronavirus, I want my life back.
Good evening, isolators. 7 o'clock. How are you? I'm having a beer tonight. Actually, I've been nursing that for the last hour or so. It's good. Just taking it slow this evening. Watching a lot of your comments. Anybody new tonight? Anybody new in our audience from tonight? I know I recognize a lot of all these names, including, Diana. Where were you yesterday, Diana? Where were you? Anybody new? Anybody new? Please make yourself known and let yourself be welcomed. You are watching Kevin's Isolators, a nightly show in which we get together, commiserate, but also feel good together and sort of work through this isolation one day at a time. And we have been at this for 89 days or 89 evenings. When we first started, it was dark at this time, and now the sun is still fully up. That's how long this show has been on streaming, and I'm so grateful to all of you who have stood with it and stayed with it. Really appreciate it. What are you grateful for? Let's start filling up that board, start putting down what you are grateful for. We always start with what you are grateful for, because what it does is it puts you in a positive frame of mind. If you can spend your days and your time, instead of looking for all the bad, look for the good. And that's what I want you to report on when you join us in the evening. Rose says she's grateful to finally go see her grandson in Guelph. A lot of grandmas and grandpas very happy to see their grandkids again, as we now have a bit of loosened restrictions on social isolating. We can get into the social circles. Hope, though, you are still taking the proper precautions. What else? Grateful for a socially distant visit today with some volleyball teammates. Yes, we're starting to see people again. It's like being indoors all winter and you don't see your neighbors, and then you come out and all of a sudden you're having every evening drink with them. So that's going to be what it's like. First-time viewer from Thunder Bay. Hello, John, and welcome to the program. Welcome to the Isolators. Marie is grateful for my health. We're grateful that John was able to join us from Thunder Bay today. What else do we have? Grateful for my team at work. There's a lot of teams that are grateful for each other at work these times. Grateful for you all. That warms my heart to see that, Thelma. Grateful for the last few weeks I've been able to spend time with my dad. He is being admitted into long-term care tomorrow. All our thoughts go with him and with you. Grateful for the show. Grateful for a beautiful day. A lot of people grateful for Parker. I'm very grateful for Parker. This week we have been doing a series which I hope will help ease you back out of isolation into the new normal world. And this evening, it's time for part 3. Mentally preparing for the new world. I keep remembering grade 8 history whenever I hear the new world. We are preparing mentally right now. And like I said this week, what I've been saying all week is now is the time to start. Don't put off planning and preparing for this, because you're going to see why in a few minutes as we take a look at a few tips. So we're mentally preparing you today. And what I've done is I have sort of looked back in my notes and taken advice from some of the incredible people and experts that we've had on this program, and sort of put it together, compiled it into a list of 8 items that I would invite you to write down and sort of check off as you do them to help ease you back into the new normal. Now, I could just call it Kevin's list, or I could, you know who I was recalling? I was recalling, remember Lucy from Peanuts, from Charlie Brown, and she had that psychiatrist booth, 5 cents for help from us. She was way ahead of her time, wasn't she? She was way ahead of her time. So that's how I sort of consider myself. I have no real credentials or schooling, but I do have a small crate that says advice 5 cents on it. So here's my 5 cents worth. Yes, it is time for 5 cents worth of mental health advice based on cursory recollection of life thoughts sent to my Facebook timeline over the years, particularly those thoughts conveyed by a hanging cat saying, "Hang in there." And let's go with thought number 1. Realize what you have been through. This is the first thing we need to do. And whenever you get into any STEP program, no matter what it is for, the first thing you need to do is sort of realize what you have been through. This has not just been staying home. This has not just been staying away from work and staying away from school and doing homeschooling. This has been, in some cases, for some people, a traumatic event. For many more, a life-changing event. This is a watershed moment in your life. What's happened over the last 3 months is significant and has had an impact on who you are and how you will grow mentally in the future. So what you choose to do with that now is vital, because it will allow you to either continue to grow or wither or just become so stressed out. Now, there are some scholars that are calling what's happened traumatic, a trauma, saying that some people could suffer from something similar or the same as PTSD. PTSD, a post-traumatic stress disorder, comes after a life-changing event, a stressful incident. And for many, this has been stressful. First of all, dealing with the boredom sometimes can be extremely stressful. Worrying about finances, worrying about catching COVID, worrying about your kids, worrying about your loved ones, not seeing loved ones. Whatever it is that has brought you stress and anxiety, that's stored up in here. That has stored up. And so you need to stop and realize the gravity of this situation. This isn't just simply, we stayed home, we're beating COVID, we're going back to work, we're going back to school, we're going back to the theater. No, it's not as simple as that. So the first thing you need to do is recognize that. And once you've recognized that, that will guide you and give you perspective for the rest of your journey. It will help set you on the right course, because if you don't think about it right now, you may realize it too late. And whenever dealing with anxiety or stress, realizing it too late, recognizing it too late, really, really complicates things. So much more than if you were able to identify it right from the beginning. And I tell people that as well with panic attacks and anxiety attacks, whatever you want to call them. The best time to deal with one is when you feel a tinge of anxiety come on. Recognize it immediately and say, okay, where's that from? And a lot of times just simply labeling something, identifying something is enough to help stave off a serious panic attack or an anxiety attack, because you've identified it. Your body isn't caught by surprise. So think about what you have been through. So you're going to be looking back. Before we show you this next point, because there's a bit of a lag, I want you to start telling me what good things happened for you, lifestyle changes happened for you during isolation. More time for yourself, getting projects done, feeling less stressed, eating better, exercise. I don't know. So start putting on the screen right now, because I want to be able to add them onto the screen as soon as we finish this next point. What has been good? So with that, here is the next point. Take stock. Let's take an inventory of what good things happen. We know what bad things happen. That's not a problem. You can identify all the bad things that happened, all the wrong things that happened, but what good came out of this? Because some did, for many people. Sadly, there are some people where nothing good came out. There's Dorothy. I learned how to slow down. You know what? Dorothy speaks for so many people. So the reason I want you to write this stuff down, and again, keep putting those on the screen, Parker. Just show all the different good things. See if you agree with them. See if it happened with you. Maybe put them on a piece of paper and say, okay, I need to keep this. If you slowed down, write it on a piece of paper and say, I need to remember, slowing down is important. I worked on it. I don't want to lose that. I'm eating better. I'm cooking supper. I'm eating with the family. Put that on a piece of paper. You want to take a good thing and continue it, because that's going to help you deal with any further stresses or anxiety that may come, because at least you will have something positive. Oh my gosh, yes, I know that I'm a little worried about being on a bus with so many other people, but when I get home, I'm going to sit down and read, because I didn't do that before isolation. I was doing it during isolation. That's what I'm going to do. So now you have something to look forward to. So take stock of what's good. I started doing movement classes with Julie. Oh, Julia's great. Julia's great, doing movement classes. Got a lot of things done around the house. We learned, didn't we? We learned work isn't everything and school isn't everything. We learned that there is time to slow down. When I was a kid, we used to call it Sunday. And it was a day that everything was closed and you couldn't go shopping. And so basically you did a lot of sitting on the porch, watching TV, putting your feet up, having a nice dinner. That's what you did. And we need another day like that. And I'm not talking about a religious day. I'm just simply talking. It would be nice to have one day where we are forced to slow down because there's no stores open or anything like that. One day, just one day. It does wonders, doesn't it? So take stock of what has been good. So Barbara's started baking again. Keep doing that, Barbara. Don't stop. Don't stop. There are so many things that you did that were good. Keep it up. It'll go a long way to helping your mental health. Work isn't everything. School isn't everything. Yeah, we spend a lot of time there and we earn money there and we get an education there, but it's not everything. We live at home. That's where we live. We work and then we live. And I want you to enjoy living and continue to enjoy living. This next one is important. You always hear the term one day at a time, one step at a time. Well, the next piece of advice here is one breath at a time. So yes, I want you to take things one day at a time, baby steps. I want you to take things one step at a time, but I also want you to keep this phrase in mind, one breath at a time. Because if you've learned nothing else from this show, you've learned how important breathing is, and monitoring your breathing and listening to your breathing, it helps to calm you down. So if you can take things one breath at a time. So if you are going to go into a room and there's a crowd of people in there, or what appears to be a crowd, and they're not social distancing, and you're going to start feeling apprehensive, well, that's okay. That's normal, but take a breath and take it one breath at a time. Step out of the room. And then you can try going back in. Stay in the door. Anything like that. So take it one breath at a time. And when things just seem to be going south on you, just find yourself a little corner. Close your eyes and listen to your breath. Maybe count your breath. You can simply say something like, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing in, to yourself. I'm breathing in, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out, I'm breathing out, I'm breathing out, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing in. And if you can say that to yourself, it's amazing how you can help take care of yourself. Because this next point is why you need to do that. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if you say, oh, Kevin, you know what? It's going to be fine. I'm going to be out there. Don't worry about me. And I'm hopping on the bus. I'm hopping on the streetcar. I'm off to work. I'm going to work, coming, stopping off at a bar afterwards, coming home. Don't be surprised if it feels weird and you start getting a funny feeling. And in some cases, maybe even start to panic a little bit. Panic is quite often worsened by being shocked and surprised at something, right? When do you start hyperventilating? When something shocks you and surprises you. So be prepared for whatever feelings may come. You don't know. We don't know. And you may be absolutely fine. I don't want to scare you, but I just want you to be prepared. And the very first time you say, wow, you know what? This feels a little strange. Recognize that, label that, and handle that. So it doesn't handle you. It works. It really, really does work if you take things and label them. It's amazing. Absolutely Amazing. Don't be surprised at others as well. Don't be surprised if someone gets mad because you're standing too close to them. They're worried. Teresa, she's saying why we're not out of this yet. No, we're not out of this yet, but we are coming out of isolation and we need to be prepared for this. Oh, no. And if you've been with this program, you know we have said many times, this pandemic is far from being over. However, our isolation is coming to a close. Already we are seeing many more businesses. And Cindy, I'm going to get to your comment in just a moment, okay? I'm just going to get your comment in just a moment, but I want to finish off with this. Restaurants and stores and malls will be opening this weekend outside of Toronto, Peel, and Windsor, Essex. So there's going to be more people in closer proximity to you. We are now allowing certain social circles. We're expanding that. We're now allowing a bit larger gatherings of people. So no, we are not out of this, Teresa. But we need to be prepared to come out of it in a healthy way, because there is a very big fear that many mental health experts have, that the mental health pandemic that is going to follow the COVID pandemic is going to be far worse than anything we've experienced. We've seen what's happened to crisis lines. Crisis lines literally are off the hook with the number of people who are calling them and contacting them. And my hat's off to all of the crisis responders out there. Thank you for doing what you do. So I want my isolators, I want all of you to be prepared for this. Being forewarned is being forearmed. So, yeah, we need to be prepared to be out of this. We also need to be prepared to hear more bad news. And we need to be prepared to hear that we may have to isolate again, so that we're not all of a sudden extremely disappointed. Yeah, being prepared. That's what this week is all about. Now, Cindy, there we go. Let's get that. Get anxious when I hear talk of a second wave. Yeah, Cindy, there is probably in all likelihood going to be a second wave, okay? And I know that you may get anxious when you hear that. So that's where, and I'm glad you recognize you're anxious. That's important. That's important. You said, I feel anxious whenever I hear that. That's good. Because you need to tell yourself, okay, why am I feeling anxious? Because I heard someone's talking about a second wave again. We can't hide from reality. The reality is that there will be a second wave. And the reality is that, and nobody knows for sure, right? I think nobody knows for sure how bad a second wave is going to be. And when it'll come, will there be a third wave? Will it be a year? Will it be 2 years? I've heard all sorts of numbers. Nobody knows, okay? But what we do know is that in all likelihood, there will be another wave. And we want to try and keep that, we want to flatten that as soon as we possibly can, hopefully with things that we have learned. And Arlene, let's our thoughts go to you. I thought I was ready to do things and take baby steps until a good friend of mine died Friday from COVID-19. And for anyone who has been impacted severely by COVID-19, our thoughts, our prayers are with you. These are the people who we most need to protect. We need to protect the elderly. We need to protect those who are immune compromised. We need to protect those who, for whatever reason, are more susceptible to COVID. We're finding that most people who had COVID, who have any COVID virus in them whatsoever, have no symptoms. And Arlene, our thoughts are with you for losing that person. And we want to keep that to a minimum as much as we possibly can. But we also have to get back to life, and that's what we are going to be doing. So keep in mind, there is going to be a second wave. But don't start guessing, okay? Oh, I heard this one expert, they said this, and this expert said this, and we're going to be in it for 10 years, and we're going to be in it for 20 years, and that's it. The same rules apply. When we're out of isolation, keep up with the news, but turn it off after 5 or 10 minutes. You can keep up with the news pretty easily on your phone, on your laptop, on your tablet, whatever. You can keep up pretty easily and get short bursts and then move on for the day. Don't dwell on it during the day. I know some of you do. There's nothing worse for your anxiety and your stress. You're going to be informed. Major news happens. Don't worry. If the world ends, I'll tell you. You're going to find out major news. But if you're going to listen to every single expert, and this is important, I'm not saying any of these experts are full of beans. Can I say full of beans on the air? Well, I just did. I'm not saying any of these experts are full. They have their different specialties, and they are using different numbers and crunching different numbers, and that's what's really important. Whenever we have any sort of discovery, it's made up of a whole bunch of different ideas. And some of them can be far out ideas. Some of them could be not so far out, right? Yes, it is. I believe it will be. Oh, there we go. Number 5. Go easy on yourself. We've talked a lot about that as well. You notice a lot of these things, these are recurring themes over the last 89 days. Going easy on yourself. It's so easy to get mad at yourself. It's so easy to get scared. It's so easy to get anxious and stressed and then get mad at yourself for being anxious and stressed because Kevin told me not to get anxious and stressed. And it just becomes a downward spiral. It becomes something that becomes much harder to deal with. So when something happens, if you experience some anxiety and stress when you thought you shouldn't have, don't just say, "Oh, Kevin, why did you do that? You should have known better." No. If you accidentally touch your eye, "Kevin, didn't you learn anything?" Say, just take it in stride. Be gentle with yourself. So if what was that? I was so into the discussion. I was cooking up some rhubarb. Oh, right! I forgot you were cooking up some rhubarb. Are you making strawberry rhubarb pie? It's amazing. So, pardon me. Hold on. I have to have a drink. So be gentle with yourself. How can we go easy on ourselves, especially when it is easy to blame ourselves? Yes, Charity. You've grown up that way, haven't you? You have learned how to be angry with yourself all the time. You've learned never to compliment yourself. You have learned that if something goes wrong and it's around you, it's probably your fault. But sometimes things go wrong. They just do. If it's something you could have prevented and you did it maliciously, okay, be mad at yourself. But if it's something that happened, that's when we have to unlearn everything we've been taught since we were a kid. Being ashamed of ourselves, being hard on ourselves, being our own worst enemy, our own worst critic. We have to unlearn that. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Dad. It's wrong. We need to remember that we're only human, except for Mike Robin. He's some super being from another planet. We are only human. We make mistakes. We get scared. We get sad. Oh, Tammy. Put up Tammy's comment. I'm getting scolded by Tammy right now. Sorry, Tammy, you are right. And yes, there is sugar in the drink. But I haven't had any sugar today, and it's okay to have a little bit. I don't think there's sugar in beer. Is there sugar in beer? Let's just say there isn't. But I'm going to be gentle on myself. So I always tell my students, I want you to brag about yourself. We do something called a brand statement as part of the lesson. And that is, who are you? What are you good at? And it's so tough to get someone to say what they're good at. Just like it's so tough to get someone to be gentle on themselves. So in answer to your question, how can we be good to ourselves? We can. We have that ability. And it starts tonight. It starts today. Next time you drop something, don't go, "Oh, damn," or "Oh, you idiot." And just say, "I dropped something." I know it sounds silly, but start getting that into your mind. Start being good to yourself. Stop getting mad at yourself, because anger creates stress to do better. Stress creates anxiety, and anxiety is exactly what we're trying to fight here. All right, let's get to our next point. And that is, again, these are repeat ideas. Together is best. Together is best. You notice at the beginning, that's one of the very first lines at the beginning of every one of these streams. We are all in this together. So we have been in isolation together. We are going to be out of isolation together. So take note, if you haven't exchanged email addresses and things like that with people who you have communicated with every night here, I invite you to do so. Or text messages. So that you can say, oh, first day out, I got a little nervous when I got on the streetcar, but I'm okay. How did you do today? Well, you know what? I'm going out tomorrow to a restaurant. So help each other. Help each other. And Dawn, I'm my own worst enemy sometimes. No more. All right, Dawn, as of now, as of 7:27 p.m. on June the, what is this, 17th? June the 17th, Dawn is no longer going to be his worst enemy. As of this minute, right now, Dawn is going to be his own best friend. Don't be your own enemy. Don't be critical of yourself all the time. If you are under the mistaken impression that it makes you a better person, get that out of your mind. It doesn't. You don't scare a child into being better, just like you don't scare yourself into being a better person. Be there for yourself, but be there for others. And that's what I mean when I say together is better. Reach out for help. You know, even if it's just minor. I just feel a little, you know what? I had a day even if you had a good day, maybe someone could use that. Maybe someone could use that encouragement. I had a good day today. Well, how come you had a good day? Well, I had a good day because this, and this. You know what? I think I might be able to have a good day tomorrow. So share with each other. Together is better. This next one is very important because we're all going to be venturing out onto this thin ice. So we need to be cautious. We need to be cautious, not paranoid. We need to continue to wash our hands extensively, many more times than we ever did before, and more extensively than we did before. We're going to have to be concerned about wearing masks. We're going to have to think about coughing into our elbow, for sure. We're going to have to think about, wait a minute, there's already 4 people in that elevator. I'm going to wait for the next one because I think that's the cautious thing to do. But I don't want you to be paranoid. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I'm going to catch COVID. Oh, that person just sneezed and they touched the elevator and I touched it and that's it. You're probably, in all likelihood, not going to contract COVID. Okay? You're probably not. The odds are against you. If you do, the odds are also that you will experience little to no symptoms at all. Now, don't think that I am trying to minimize the threat this is to life and to those who are immune compromised, elderly, or at risk in some way. I'm not trying to minimize that. But for the vast majority of the people, what we need to be concerned about is making sure that those people are okay. And the best way we can do that is by washing our hands, by wearing a mask, by not coughing by coughing into our elbow, by having a beer. Beer, as Homer Simpson said, the cause of and the solution to all of life's problems. So be cautious, be healthy in cautious. Have you seen some of these people in the grocery store or something where they're like hugging the wall when you go by them because they don't want to even come near you at all and they hold your breath? That's paranoid. That is paranoia, and it's going to increase your stress level like you wouldn't believe. I hit the elevator button with my finger yesterday when I went out for a walk. There's been a lot of studies, by the way, done that the spread of COVID has been more airborne than it has been from surfaces. That's just something to put in the back of your mind, okay? It's still possible, but many studies have shown that this has been an airborne problem. Did you see the study this morning that came out? Who was it? The WHO? I'm not sure. About flushing the toilet. That flushing your toilet actually sends an aerosol of liquid from the toilet as it's flushing as high as 3 feet into the air. Great. So now we have that to worry about. So the next thing you may want to do, the next thing you want to do is shut the lid before you flush, and put away the toothbrush. You know what? I'm putting away our toothbrushes are out there in the open. But I don't want to be paranoid. I'm not moving the toothbrushes. Okay, I'm just not. I mean, they're not beside the toilet. It's okay, but I'm not going to be paranoid like that. I don't want you to be paranoid because that's no way to live. If you know, there is so much in this life to be paranoid for or about. An asteroid could hit the Earth in 10 minutes that we didn't see coming. There could be a major earthquake. The list goes on and on. I shouldn't even list them because now I'm going to start making you feel paranoid. If we were going to be worried about everything that was a possibility over the, every minute of every day, we would constantly be hiding under our beds if we weren't worried there was a monster hiding under there. Don't be paranoid. Be cautious. And ask yourself if what you're doing is a result of being cautious or is it the result of paranoia? And you'll know the difference. If it scares you, it's most likely paranoia. If it arms you with doing what's right, it's probably cautious. Okay, let's go to our last one, and this is perhaps the most important one. Life is good. We have been through hell over the last 3 months. We have, first of all, been in isolation. We have seen the death toll rise. We are being confronted with the ugly face of racism over the last couple of weeks, and seemingly no answer to it. Accusations flying back and forth. Now, our toilets are going to kill us. It's so easy to forget that life is good. But everybody right now, stand up and look out your window. Just look out the window at that sky. Now, where I am, it's blue sky. It's beautiful. That's gorgeous. The sun is out. I don't know what it's like for you up in Thunder Bay, John, or Cochrane for you, Mike, or wherever you're watching us, but it doesn't matter if it's raining. I love it. Look out and just remember that life is good. There is so much good happening. There's so many wonderful things. There is far more good. There is far more good in this world than there is bad. Far more. You know how I know that? Because I read you the news every day. Remember what news is. What does news mean? News means new. It also means out of the ordinary. So it's easy when you're constantly watching TV, and that's why I say turn the TVs off. Turn the news off after a few minutes. That's why I'm saying when you're there watching the news, it's so easy to be fooled into everything is bad. Everything is horrible. That's what you're seeing is a snippet. You're seeing what is bad. You're seeing the unusual. You're seeing things that don't normally happen. You know what normally happens? Good. And when we talked about what you're grateful for at the beginning of this show, that's one way to try and show you that life is good. And if you recognize that all the time, and look for that all the time, you'll be that much better. I'd rather be living in a happy place than a sad place. So if the world scares you, as I'm not surprised if it does, okay? And again, you have to be gentle with yourself if you feel that way. I would not be surprised if the world scared you. It can appear to be a scary place. But there's so much more good out there. And let that into your heart instead of the bad. And it goes a long way. So let's go over each of them just very quickly one more time if we could. So let's go to we're going to run here we go. Realize what you've been through. So let's look at this and take it for what it is. This was something that was a life-changing event. Take stock. What was good that happened over these last 3 months? Let's try and keep that going. Take everything one breath, one step, one day at a time. You'll get there. Don't be surprised. Be prepared. Yeah, we could have a second wave. Most likely we'll have a second wave. Just don't be surprised by it. Be easy on yourself. Be your own best friend. Don't get mad at yourself if you have a setback or if there is a setback. Together is best. We're much stronger together. Reach out for help and don't do this alone. Be cautious by all means, but not paranoid. There's a huge, huge difference. And then finally, remember, life is good. And this has been 5 cents worth of mental health advice based on cursory recollection of life thoughts sent to my Facebook timeline over the years, particularly those thoughts conveyed by a hanging cat saying, "Hang in there." All right, once again, our final episode will be episode 100, Sunday, June the 28th, and I am looking for you to be a part of it. One way I want you to be a part of it is I want you to tell me what it's like being a member of this Isolator family. John, you're now a member of the family, by the way, up in Thunder Bay, so this is your homework as well. I'd love you to do a video or something that answers that question and send it to kevinsisolators@gmail.com. Some people have already sent me a few through Messenger, so that's fine. Any way that you can get it to me, through an owl. If you need to send me an owl, send me an owl. Carrier pigeons, telegram. I don't know if they still do telegrams, but whatever way that you can get it to me. Don't forget next week as well. Oh, by the way, Friday, Erin Davis will be on with me. She is going to be looking at a survey that we have been conducting this week. And if you want to check it out, you go to surveymonkey.com/r/isolators. That's surveymonkey.com/r/isolators. And it's only going to take you 3 minutes. So it's only 10 questions. And I just want to get your take on what isolation has meant for you and how you're feeling coming out of isolation. So once again, that is surveymonkey.com/r/isolators. I'm just waiting. Parker's typing it up here, so that's why I'm going slowly. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I think that's it. There you go. surveymonkey.com/r/isolators. The R stands for grrr. surveymonkey.com/r/isolators. And then join us for our final, join us for the next 11 shows. 10 shows, sorry. 10? 10, no. 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 11 shows. Join us for the next 11 shows. How does 90 plus 11 equal 100? I don't know. It just does, apparently. I know it starts at 0, and please don't go through the 21st century in 2020. I want you to be a part of that. That is coming up on Sunday, June the 28th, our 100th and final episode. I don't know. I'd love to somehow be with you after that in some way. Like I said, though, I got to find a job. I got to find work. Maybe this is what I can do. You know what? If everybody, it's Toronto Math. Yeah, thank you, Mike. If everybody sent me $100 a day, I could do this every day. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So please check out that survey and also get in your videos about what it's meant to be a part of this Isolator family. And if you missed any of these, please go back and look at this video and make yourself a bit of a checklist. You could also tell me too what some of your favorite parts of the show have been, and I'll try and put them together in a best of. Thanks for joining me tonight. Thanks for joining Parker. On behalf of both of us, take care of yourself and take care of each other.
COVID-19, why you do this to me? I really don't like being stuck in quarantine. I have no toilet paper, I don't need